You're simply the best, better than all the rest.
Hello, welcome back to the channel, it's JPA here. In today's video I'm going to be discussing Rangers Europa League game with Standard Liege away tomorrow night. Before we get into this video, if you just want to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit the like button as well and we'll be on our way. So Standard Liege versus Rangers tomorrow night. That's a 17:55 kick-off, that's 5 to 6 to the layman, you and I that is. It's available on BT Sport 3, obviously I think you'll get it on Rangers TV as well, but for me I'm going to watch on BT Sport. I think quite a lot of the games are 5 to 6 kick-off to allow for the games kicking off at 8 o'clock as well, so that they can show them. So don't get caught out by that it's going to be a later kick-off and all that. Usually when we're playing in Europe it's a 7:45 kick-off, so don't get caught out by that. It is tea time, 5 to 6. So obviously make sure you're in your house watching that game for that time and you're not stuck at work. It's going to be a really interesting game. When I first seen this, like the draw, I've seen Standard Liege, well, alright, they're not too bad, probably beat them, no problem. To be honest, I've looked at the last couple of results, I've looked at their league position, I've looked at the way they play. It's not going to be a complete walkover for us. That's even if we get the victory, it's going to be really difficult. They're sitting fourth in their league, but don't even let that fool you. They're only 1 point behind Charleroi and Club Brugge, who are joint top. So it's only by a point. They're 9 games into their domestic season, so they're fairly well into the season. A couple of times they've played in Europe this season. They've only played 1 or 2 games, but these guys are well ahead in their league, played almost as many games as we have. The interesting thing for me is they seem to score a lot, but they seem to concede a lot as well. They've conceded 7 goals in their 9 league matches. You know, when you compare that to Rangers, obviously we played slightly more, but we've only conceded 3 goals. Obviously we've played a different standard opposition. If you look at their opposition, they drew their most recent game against Club Brugge. Club Brugge are obviously top of the league, and Club Brugge are actually the same team who last night just beat PSG away from home, so in the Champions League, so it's no mean feat to come away with a result there. They did get a late penalty in that game, to be honest. It was like 93rd minute or something they managed to get a penalty to get the draw, but it's still a draw all the same, it's still a point regardless how you get that. Another game just before that, Charleroi, as I said, are joint top. They managed to beat them away from home. They beat a team in Europe, I really can't pronounce their name, they're a Hungarian outfit, Fervera, really not sure if that's the pronunciation. They got a couple of penalties in that game as well. That seems to be key for this side. They seem to win a lot of penalties, and obviously that means they'll be getting in the box, getting in behind quite a lot and drawing those fouls in and around the box. They then drew 2-2 at home with Zulte Waregem. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but again, it's another draw. They probably should be winning that game if you're really honest, but they look a really good outfit, I'm not going to lie about that. Obviously the narrative again, which was the same as the Celtic game, these guys have got loads of players with COVID and what have you. If you look at it in more detail, they've only got 3 players actually have the virus of COVID, the other 2 are self-isolating. And of those 3 players that I mentioned, only one of them is an actual first team starter, and that's Raskin, the midfielder. So he's got a couple of goals, a couple of assists already this season. He's probably the main one. Balakishva is the other one who seems to come in for the odd game. Has scored a couple this season already as well, but he's a forward who can play kind of through the middle or on the wing as well. Sissoko, he's another midfielder. They've got Pavlovic and Tapsoba. Those players are both isolating just now, and obviously their goalkeeper coach is tested positive for COVID as well, but that's obviously not really part of the squad. So if you look at it, they've got 5 players who are not going to be available for this game, but it's only really one that's a standout name for me, and that's Raskin, who's a pretty good player. So basically I wouldn't listen to the press too much. Building up on this game is the fact that they've got all these players out. Rangers have had players out in the past as well. Aribo and Roof are obviously still on the way back. I don't know whether they'll get a start or not. I'd imagine we'll see them at some point. And we've obviously had like the likes of Katic out, we've had Barker out this season, we've had Jones out this season, we've had a number of players out this year, so I wouldn't go focus on too much on that. In terms of this team's formation, they like to play a 4-3-3. They did change to a 5 at the back at the weekend, as Gerard mentioned, but we just don't know exactly how this COVID situation is going to leave their squad looking. They like to get in behind the fullbacks and cause problems. They try and invite the team on and then kind of hit them on the break, which is something that we're going to have to be wary of. Obviously we've got two really good wing backs who are going to have to defend first and foremost. I think they did that really well in the Old-Firm game, which I'll kind of talk about a wee bit later. So they're going to be a dangerous outfit. So if you look at the Rangers team, obviously I mentioned Aribo and Roof are kind of just on the way back. We might see them at some point. I wouldn't imagine both of them will start. Katic is the only notable absence out. The rest are there or thereabouts. Obviously Jack's not had that much game time, but he came on against Celtic and done not too bad actually. The thing I wanted to say about the Celtic game, that's done, that's over, that's finished. Yeah, it was brilliant to get the win, but we need to really focus on this game. Because that was only 3 points there. It doesn't matter now, the game's over. Let's focus very much on this game, and it's going to be vital to get a good start in this group. It's no the hardest of groups, but then again we can't take it lightly either, and we've got to kind of hit these guys as quickly as possibly can. In terms of prediction, I'm going to go for a high scoring game. I think they're fairly similar to the way like Braga play, where they do commit a lot forward and they do score goals, but they do leave the back door open, and hopefully that'll let us in. If you look at Standard Liege's results over the last few weeks, they have scored a lot of goals, but they've let a lot of goals in. Not a lot of clean sheets in there in comparison to Rangers, obviously. So I'm going to go Standard Liege 2, Rangers 3. Goal scorers of Kent, Aribo and Arfield. Now obviously the Aribo one is very much dependent on whether he plays the game. Could easily change that to Hadji, who I think is still in contention for a start as well. He was missing against Celtic, so he could come in there as well. We've got so many options all over the pitch. We've really got so many options. I'd probably say up front is probably the weakest in terms of options, because I can't remember quite offhand, but I think Defoe isn't available for the European games, which leaves Roof is obviously not 100% fit, and doesn't he really tend to start many games. So I'm going to go for obviously Morelos. I think will play up top. He's the only probably real option we've got up there. He needs to kind of step up a gear, and I'll maybe talk about that in a separate video about Morelos. But right across the midfield we've got options. Zungu's still obviously no quite there in terms of him being able to play. He's probably a wee bit behind match fitness. But we've got Ryan Jack that can come in, we've got Brendan Barker, Jones can come in, Hadji can come in, Aribo can come in if fit. I think the only two kind of nailed on positions are maybe, or three nailed on positions really, are right back, left back and Goldson at centre back. So I'm just going to wrap the video up, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully if you're new to the channel, as I say, please subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.